Listen up. The moment you pick up your phone to text her, you're already behind. Most men have it all wrong when it comes to texting women. They think texting is just about what you say, how often you say it, or how quickly you reply. But here's the harsh truth nobody tells you. Texting isn't about her, it's about you. If you don't master this one powerful Stoic lesson before you even type a single word, you're setting yourself up to lose before the game starts. Here's the controversy. Society, friends, and even dating gurus push the idea that you need to be eager, available, and emotionally invested all the time. That if you don't respond immediately or flood her with messages, you'll lose her interest forever. That's a lie, and it's destroying men's chances more than anything else. The real power? It comes from understanding control, self-control. Stoicism teaches us that the only thing we truly control is our own mind, our reactions, and our emotions. Not her feelings, not her actions, not the outcome. And if you text her from a place of neediness, anxiety, or chasing validation, you're handing her control over you. You're showing weakness. And that kills attraction faster than bad grammar or boring small talk. Before you send that next message, you need to master the lesson of emotional independence. This means you don't text to fix her mood, to get reassurance, or to prove you care. You text from a calm, grounded place where your happiness doesn't depend on her response. Because when you're emotionally free, you become unpredictable, valuable, and powerful in ways that make her think twice. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what this Stoic lesson is, why it's the secret weapon most men overlook, and how you can use it to transform your texting game, making her chase you instead of the other way around. If you want to stop wasting time, stop feeling desperate, and finally take control, then listen carefully. This lesson will change how you text women forever. 1. Why texting is not about her. Most men make the fatal mistake of thinking texting is all about her, what she wants, how she feels, what she expects. That's the exact wrong mindset. If you believe texting is about winning her approval or managing her emotions, you're already losing control. Texting isn't a tool to fix her mood, make her like you more, or prove how much you care. It's a tool to express your value and keep your power. Here's the reality. When you text with the goal of getting a specific reaction from her, you become a slave to her feelings. Your mood depends on her reply. Your confidence depends on her interest. And the moment she ignores your message or takes hours to respond, you panic. You start overthinking, texting again too soon, or apologizing for something you didn't even do wrong. That's weakness disguised as effort. Instead, texting should be about you communicating clearly and confidently, not begging for attention or approval. Your energy and attitude in a text come from how you see yourself, not how you see her. You text because you have something to say, not because you need her to say something back. Let me show you what this means. Imagine you text her, "Hey, what's up?" and she doesn't reply for 2 hours. Most men start feeling anxious, wondering if they said something wrong, or if she's losing interest. So, they send another message, maybe, "You there?" or "Everything okay?" This only makes them look needy and desperate. But the man who understands texting isn't about her. He stays calm. He doesn't panic. If she replies later, great. If not, he doesn't lose sleep or keep texting. He knows his worth isn't tied to her response. He might wait a day or two before texting again, showing he's busy, focused on his own life. This mindset change is powerful because it flips the whole dynamic. Instead of texting to fix things or please her, you text to show that you're a man who controls his own emotions and time. And that makes you magnetic. 2. The biggest mistake men make when texting. Here's the brutal truth. Most men fail at texting because they try too hard. They overthink every word, obsess about timing, and flood her with messages. The biggest mistake? Being too available and too eager. This screams neediness, and nothing kills attraction faster. When you text too much or too soon, you lose your mystery and power. She doesn't feel challenged or curious. Instead, she feels overwhelmed or bored. The chase disappears, and with it, her interest. Men think the way to keep her hooked is constant communication. Wrong. Women are wired to respect and desire men who have their own lives and boundaries. When you flood her phone with texts, you show you have nothing better to do, and that lowers your value in her eyes. Here's how it plays out. You send her a message right after she texts, every single time. Then, when she doesn't reply quickly, you panic and start sending follow-ups. Maybe a, "Hey, you there?" or "Why aren't you replying?" This desperation is the exact opposite of what you want. It puts all the power in her hands and makes you look weak. Instead, when you understand this mistake, you act differently. Let's say you text her once, and she doesn't reply for a few hours. Instead of chasing her, you focus on your own day. You don't reply immediately when she texts either. You keep a bit of space, showing you're not desperate for her attention. This creates an invisible tension, a pull. She wonders what you're up to, why you're not always available, and that mystery makes her more interested. The less you chase, the more she chases. Remember, texting isn't about winning her over with words. It's about showing her you're a man who has control, confidence, and standards. Don't make yourself too easy or too accessible. If you avoid this biggest mistake, you instantly become more attractive. Less is more. Patience is power. 3. The Stoic truth: control only yourself. One of the hardest lessons for any man to learn, especially in dating, is that you don't control her feelings, her reactions, or what she does. It sounds obvious, but most men act like they do. They get caught up in trying to change her mind, make her like them, or fix things when she pulls away. This only leads to frustration and pain. Stoicism teaches something different. The only thing you can control is yourself, your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions. That means everything you do with texting, with talking, or with showing interest should come from what you control, not what you wish she'd do. Think about how often you've felt stressed waiting for a reply. How many times you've overanalyzed her last message or guessed what she might be thinking. That's because you're trying to control something outside your power, her response. And it's exhausting. Instead, when you accept that she is her own person, with her own free will, you free yourself from this mental trap. You stop obsessing over timing, tone, and outcomes. You stop chasing approval. You stop feeling rejected if she doesn't respond the way you want. This mindset changes everything. When you text or reach out, it's because you choose to, not because you need to. You don't expect anything back, so you're calm and confident. You're not at the mercy of her moods or actions. It also means you focus on what matters, being the best version of yourself. You improve your life, your goals, your confidence, all things you have control over. The more you grow yourself, the less you rely on her validation. Most men want control over her feelings because they confuse attachment with love. Real strength is detachment, not indifference, detachment. You care, but you're not desperate or dependent. You're steady, grounded, and emotionally independent. This is the core of Stoic power in relationships. Control only what you can. Let go of what you can't. This simple shift makes you unshakable. And unshakable men are magnetic. 4. Why chasing kills attraction. Let's get real for a second. If you're one of those guys who texts her nonstop, waits anxiously for her replies, or tries to win her back by bending over backwards, it's time to wake up. Chasing doesn't make you more attractive, it makes you desperate, and desperation is the quickest way to kill attraction. Women aren't attracted to guys who act like they have nothing better to do than wait on their every word. Being available 24/7, flooding her inbox, or constantly trying to impress her isn't charming, it's needy. And when you need her to feel good about yourself, you're handing her the power. You might think, but if I don't chase, she'll forget about me. That's exactly the problem. When you chase, you signal low value. You show that your happiness depends on her attention, and that's a weakness women sense immediately. Here's some tough advice. Stop chasing. Stop being the guy who's always first to text, always available, and always trying to fix things. That's not strength. That's weakness dressed up as effort. You don't want to be a backup plan or a safety net. You want to be the prize, the guy who's calm, confident, and has his own life going on. When you chase, you lower your value and make her comfortable with taking you for granted. The moment you realize that attraction comes from power, not pleading, you start playing a different game. You stop texting just because you're bored or anxious. You stop waiting by your phone. You focus on your life, your goals, your passions, your friends. When she sees you're not desperate, that you're not waiting on her every move, something changes. She notices. She starts wondering why you're not chasing. And that's when the dynamic flips. She's the one trying to get your attention. So here's the wake-up call. Chasing doesn't work. It never did. If you want respect, attraction, and real interest, stop running after her. Stand tall, hold your ground, and let her chase for a change. 5. Emotional independence, the ultimate power. If you want to master texting and honestly dating, you have to understand one key thing. Emotional independence is everything. Too many men get stuck in the trap of depending on a woman's texts, replies, or attention to feel good about themselves. That's a recipe for frustration and weakness. Emotional independence means your mood and self-worth don't hinge on whether she replies right away or even at all. You're the boss of your emotions, not her. You don't text because you're lonely or desperate. You text because you want to, on your terms. Think about how it feels when you wait for her reply. Do you get anxious, irritated, hopeful? That's emotional dependence, and it's toxic. When your happiness is controlled by her actions, you give her power over you, and the second she pulls back, your world shakes. Here's the truth. Women respect men who stand firm emotionally, who don't get rattled by silence or mixed signals. That kind of man is rare because most guys let their emotions run wild, texting back and forth like a ping pong ball. Emotional independence means you keep your cool no matter what. If she ignores your message, you don't freak out. You don't bombard her with texts. You don't start wondering if you did something wrong. You accept her choice without losing your balance. When you're emotionally independent, you automatically become more attractive. Why? Because you show you have control, strength, and self-respect. You don't need her to feel complete. You already are complete. This doesn't mean you don't care or that you act cold. It means you care for yourself first. You protect your energy and your time. You don't sacrifice your peace just to get a reply. If you want her to chase you, you need to master emotional independence. It's the foundation for confidence, power, and respect. Without it, you're just another needy guy, hoping for scraps of attention. So start practicing emotional independence now. Text only when it feels right for you. Don't wait by your phone. Build your life around your goals, not her texts. This is the ultimate power. And once you have it, you're unstoppable. 6. Silence speaks louder than texts. Men, listen closely. Sometimes the best message you can send isn't a text at all. Silence is a powerful weapon many guys completely overlook. Instead of bombarding her phone with constant messages, learn to embrace the power of saying nothing. When you stop texting for a bit, it creates space. Space where she starts to notice your absence. Space where her mind fills in the blanks and she wonders what you're up to. That uncertainty is magnetic. Most men panic when she doesn't reply immediately and rush to fill the silence with more texts. This only makes you look needy and insecure. But Stoicism teaches us that silence is a form of control. You don't have to explain yourself or prove your value through non-stop messaging. Silence shows that you're not desperate for her attention. It tells her you have better things to do than wait on her reply. And that's exactly the kind of energy that draws women in. Think about how it feels when you don't hear from a girl for a day or two. If you like her, your mind starts spinning. You wonder what she's doing, if she's thinking about you, or why she suddenly went quiet. That curiosity creates desire. You need to use silence intentionally. Don't reply immediately just because she texts. Don't always be the first to reach out. Sometimes, take a break from the phone entirely. Focus on your work, your hobbies, your friends. When you come back after silence, your messages carry weight. You're not just another guy blowing up her phone. You're the guy who knows his worth and isn't afraid to let her wonder. Remember, quality beats quantity. It's better to send one strong message after a pause than 10 desperate texts in a row. Silence isn't ignoring her. It's respecting yourself. It's setting boundaries that make you valuable. And women notice that. Master the art of silence, and you'll see how much more powerful your texting game becomes. 7. Why validation is a trap. Guys, here's something you probably don't want to hear, but it's true. Constantly seeking her validation through texts is a trap. It feels good to get a like or a quick reply, but relying on that approval makes you weak and unattractive. When you text just to see if she responds or to get her to say something nice, you put your self-worth in her hands. That's dangerous, because what happens if she doesn't reply? Or worse, what if she replies coldly? Suddenly, your mood crashes, and you start doubting yourself. You might catch yourself refreshing your phone, waiting for her message like it's a lifeline. This is the exact opposite of what being a strong man looks like. A strong man doesn't need constant approval to feel good. His value comes from within. Women can sense when a guy depends on their validation. It makes them lose respect because it shows he's not confident or secure. And respect is the foundation of attraction. Instead, you need to build your confidence from yourself, not from her. Stop texting just to get her attention or approval. Text because you want to say something interesting or because it feels right, not because you're fishing for compliments or reassurance. This means you don't ask questions that put the ball in her court constantly. You don't send needy messages, hoping she'll respond quickly. You don't overanalyze every word she types. You're in control of your emotions. You decide your worth. And when you come from that place, your texts carry power. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need her validation. So here's the wake-up call. If you want to attract her, stop seeking her approval. Start approving yourself first. Build your confidence, keep your standards high, and text with purpose, not desperation. When you break free from the validation trap, you become a man who is calm, confident, and magnetic. That's the kind of man women want. 8. How overthinking destroys your chances. Men, overthinking is one of the biggest killers of attraction, and most guys don't even realize they're doing it. You send a text, then spend hours replaying it in your head, wondering if it was too much, too little, too funny, or not funny enough. You guess what she might be thinking. You stress about timing, emojis, and punctuation. This is mental torture, and it kills your chances before she even reads your message. Here's the truth. Overthinking makes you act unnatural. When you're constantly second-guessing yourself, it shows. You come off nervous, unsure, and desperate to please. Women are wired to sense that insecurity, and nothing turns them off faster. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to analyze every word or wait for the perfect moment to text. That kind of thinking traps you in a loop of hesitation and missed opportunities. Instead, simplify. Send your message without overanalyzing. If it feels right, send it. If you're curious about how she'll react, remember, you can't control that. You only control your action. Stop giving your brain too much power. Overthinking creates emotional dependence. It makes you care more about her reaction than your own peace. And that's the exact opposite of what attracts women. Next time you want to text, take a deep breath, trust yourself, and just do it. The right mindset is confident and carefree, not anxious and obsessed. 9. Why being unavailable builds mystery. Here's a powerful truth many men don't understand. Being too available kills attraction. When you're always ready to answer her texts, always free to hang out, and always waiting for her, you become predictable and boring. That's the last thing you want. Women are naturally drawn to mystery. When a man is a little hard to get, when he has a busy life and doesn't drop everything for her. It creates curiosity and intrigue. She wonders what you're doing, who else is in your life, and why you're not glued to your phone. Being unavailable isn't about playing games or being rude, it's about valuing your time and energy. It shows you have your own world, your own goals, and you're not desperate for attention. If you always respond instantly, you send a message that you have nothing better to do. That's not attractive. Instead, learn to be strategically unavailable. Take your time to reply sometimes. Focus on your day. When you do text, make it count. This availability balance builds tension. Tension creates desire. It makes her want to know more and chase you. Remember, mystery is magnetic. If you want her to chase you instead of the other way around, be a man who's not always within reach. 10. Control your ego. Before you hit send, men, here's a harsh truth. Your ego is the biggest enemy when it comes to texting her. You want to look cool, funny, or important, so you send messages fueled by pride instead of purpose. You try to impress her, prove your worth, or get the last word in. That's ego talking, and it destroys your chances every time. Your ego wants validation, attention, and control. It pushes you to text things like, "Why didn't you reply sooner?" or "I thought you'd want to hang out." It makes you respond defensively when she's distant or cold. It makes you send one more message when you should have stopped. But Stoicism teaches us something different. Detach from the need to be right, liked, or understood. Before you send that text, ask yourself, am I texting because I want to control her response? Or am I texting because I genuinely want to communicate something valuable? When your ego leads, you appear needy and weak. You come off as someone desperate for attention. And that's the fastest way to kill attraction. Instead, practice self-control. Wait before you send impulsive texts. Review what you wrote and check if your message respects both her and yourself. If it feels like it's about proving something or reacting emotionally, delete it. Choose calm over drama. Remember, real strength is quiet confidence. It's knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. It's sending messages that show value, not desperation. Control your ego, and you control the conversation. You set the tone, keep your dignity, and make her want to engage on your terms. So next time you're about to text, pause. Think about what you're really trying to achieve. Don't let pride make you look foolish. Instead, be the man who leads with calm, purpose, and respect. Mastering your ego before you hit send isn't just about texting. It's about becoming a stronger, more attractive man overall. Here's the truth no one dares to say. Most men ruin their chances before they even send the first text. They act desperate, needy, and weak because they don't master the one Stoic lesson that changes everything: self-control and detachment. If you don't learn this, you're just another guy wasting time, chasing women who aren't interested. Stop begging for attention through your phone. Stop letting your ego write your messages. If you don't control yourself, you'll never control her interest. It's that simple. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever caught yourself falling into these traps? Or maybe you've experienced what happens when you actually apply these Stoic principles. Drop your story in the comments. I read everyone, and I'll personally reach out to some of you, because this isn't just about texts. It's about changing how you see yourself and how women see you. Remember, this journey is about growth and real confidence, not just playing games. So comment below, let's start a real conversation, and I'll help you master this mindset step by step.